Do you really hate New Year's Eve?
Yes.
Yeah. Why?
Because I don't like to be forced to enjoy myself.
So you don't like being told to have a good time?
No, not at all.
And you're not a big smiler either.
Inside.
I want to ask about your speech. I know aphasia is a broad term.
Yeah.
Is it that you have trouble finding the right word or producing the word?
Produce. I can sing all the word as quickly as I did before, but getting hold of the word and bringing it up to my down as hard.
Got it. So you know the word that you want coming out of your mouth. That has to be frustrating.
Slightly.
Yeah. Aside from the speech, before the stroke, you were right-handed.
Yeah. I wrote the book with left hand with one more hand. But I had to teach myself to type with one hand. But I often think there's a prize for the left hand book written with one hand. I'm sure to be shortlisted.
Oh, you're going to be shortlisted for the prize for authors who wrote books with their left hand.
Yes, well, I think so. I think I'm a shoo-in.
How long did it take to write it?
6 years. 6 years. Every day from 5 to 10 hours. Every day, including Christmas and New Year's Eve.
No days off.
Yeah, but I loved it.
Your book is a bestseller. You don't need to go on TV and talk. You're doing fine. So why are we here?
Because naturally I'm a bit embarrassed to be on TV talking like this. Who wouldn't be? It's good for me to do it because it gets me free of my embarrassment. I'm embarrassed talking about embarrassment.
Well, let me just offer this. Could it be a way of getting over it? Is it?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, are you drawn to sort of something that you're afraid of?
Yeah. First I run away and then I came back.
I have to say, you didn't cancel on us. You didn't postpone. I know you've done that with print reporters. It's become a whole thing.
No, nothing gives me more happiness than cancellations.
When things that you're scheduled to do, if you're going to go to a dinner party and then it ends up getting canceled.
Yeah, I love it. I'm sorry, but I'm lucky to be invited. But the day before is like I get phobia and I don't want to go, and so that's my thing.
Well, you've described yourself as the least hospitable person in the hospitality business.
Yeah. Yes, maybe the second least.
Oh, the second? So
I'm having a joke.
Okay. Let me ask you, what was the hardest part of the book for you to write?
The hardest thing was my suicide attempt because my kids, I didn't want to leave them at all.
And your younger boy, George, is the one who found you.
Yeah. He was supposed to not find me. I planned it to. Usually on the holiday, it was 15, and then like most teenagers, he would sleep till noon. But that day, he woke up early at 8 o'clock.
You expected him to be sleeping later. He woke up early. He saw you.
The bastard just saved my life.
Yeah. When you look back on that attempt, do you think you really did want to end your life?
Yes, of course, and no doubt.
Yeah.
Not because I didn't want to do this interview. I'm happy with this, but I was so down at the time because of my speech, my ribs were breaking up, and I realized I can no longer do the things that I did with my young kids again, like cycling on playing football and even read them. My back was also hurting me a lot, and we're depressed.
And I know a couple of years earlier, after the stroke initially, and they were obviously younger, your two youngest, George and Alice, and you saw them. What was that meeting like?
In the hospital?
Yeah.
Not good. I cancelled the first meeting because I didn't want my kids, and young kids, to see me in such a dependent estate. But then it was much worse. I could barely talk, and I was really embarrassed, and I'm sad, desperately sad to have them see me in the hospital like this. But that's when I cried for the first time over.
When they saw you?
After they left.
After they left. After you tried to take your life, you read about the effect.
Of the kids, the parents, kids kill themselves. The kids have a much higher percentage chance of killing themselves. That's a fact. So that's why I would never do it again.
And I want to repeat that the children of parents who take their lives have a much higher likelihood of taking their own lives.
Yeah, that's true.
You didn't come to New York to open a restaurant.
I came to make films.
To make movies. And you ended up making 2 of them.
Yeah.
Is opening a restaurant kind of like opening a show?
In some ways, yes, but I suppose the enjoyment of the last 3 weeks of the rehearsal and the 3 weeks leading up to the restaurant opening is similar. I think that the best time in the restaurant is actually before it opens, when you're on the verge of something great. My case. I think that there are 2 types of restaurateurs. One is closer to people, customers. The other one is closer to the restaurant staff.
So one kind of restaurant owner is closer to the restaurant staff, the other is closer to the diners.
But I identify more with myself.
Well, you identify more with the staff, and you think that's obviously you think that's a better approach.
Yeah, but myself know this. Many stayed years and years.
Your staff, it is true. You have people that have been with you for decades. I mean, many, some up to 40 years. I think.
One man's been working there for 400 years.
For how many?
400 years.
Methuselah, the dishwasher, he's amazing.
An amazing man.
No, the guy who bought the bunch of houses. And,
but 44 years.
44 years.
He came to the Odeon in 1981.
The first year the Odeon opened, I mean, Harold Pinter, Jean-Michel Basquiat, the cast of Saturday Night Live. I mean, all of these sort of Andy Warhol came. So
Anna Wintour, lawmaker.
And your friend Anna Wintour. So that must have done something to your ego.
Yes, but not much, because every night I would talk not about the very famous people. It wasn't about Andy Warhol not showing up. All I thought about each night, what went wrong.
You have certain rules. You don't say my special. You say our.
When there's people see 2 women next to 2 women, I don't like it.
Why?
But I don't know. But I feel the same sex should be not next to the same sex. And then when AC is too fierce, like it is on most restaurants in the summertime, music too loud or not loud enough, the wrong playlist they're on playing, the waiter has a bit dirty shirt, the food...
Did waiter what?
Has an unclean shirt. Grimy. The French fries and many things. People say you're so lucky to be able to eat every night. No, it's work for me. I'm lucky, of course I'm lucky, but I don't enjoy in the night especially.
You can't go to certainly one of your own restaurants and just enjoy it.
No.
Why is it important to have a hamburger on the menu?
I don't like hamburgers much myself, but to me it's a sign of snobbery not to have hamburgers.
It's a sign of snobbery to not offer a hamburger. The house you grew up in, you were embarrassed by.
No, but it wasn't a house. It was called a prefab.
Prefab
in London. I wasn't embarrassed growing up, but when I got to 16, I entered the world of the theatre, and suddenly I met all these fancy, challenging people whose houses I loved, and I would go back to my small prefab and get angry inside. Why have we got this life? But it didn't last long. But I got angry inside at my parents because we had no books in the house, no pictures on the walls. But they couldn't help it. They were working class. They grew up with nothing.
You know, you wrote that the saddest sight to you is two people, a married couple, sitting at dinner and not talking. And you explained that that was about your parents, right? That they endured a 50-year grim and joyless marriage. And how much of that do you think motivates what you do?
Who knows? But I suppose everybody is motivated by something they don't know. I suppose that's true, because when I was writing the book, they came to me. I was desperately unhappy. My parents, especially my mother, because they were quite different. Then my father was a dock worker.
Your father was an illiterate dock worker, a stevedore.
Yes, a lovely man. He loved sports, but he didn't know anything about books at all. My mother hated books, sports, and read a lot. She learned Spanish at
45 or something, right? Or 40,
Then started to learn German. She read a lot about German history. So they were quite different. But my mother was more intelligent and had the ideas, but she was really difficult. And we were very unhappy. They didn't reach their potential.
But reading about your mother, I can see how frustrating it was to be a smart woman, to be self-taught. She obviously wanted something, but was limited by circumstance.
But she was a cleaner, a house cleaner, office cleaner. But she really read a lot. There were few books in the house because she couldn't afford to buy them. She borrowed them from the library. That's why the libraries are so great. Without the library, she wouldn't have learned.
She couldn't have had books at all without a library. And she's married to your father, who seems like a very genial, charming guy who comes and works in your restaurant. He seems like a great guy, but for her, it's really frustrating. And so when you see a couple not communicating,
them, it was them.
And even now, does that pain you when you see that?
Yeah. But also, when I see that couple outside the restaurant looking at the prices, that reminds me of my parents too, because I didn't go into restaurant until I was, well, not a proper restaurant until I was 17. But most of the time, we were on a holiday. We would go to the restaurant. They would look at the prices outside and stand around for 5 minutes. Then, not for us.
Do you remember the first time you went into a restaurant?
Yeah, I was in a play in London, 40 years on, written by Anna Bennett. And he would take a group out to dinner every week, and it made me more nervous than being at the play, because I didn't know how to eat properly. I didn't know which course was coming. I didn't know which fork to use and which knife. Nightmare. And you described the terror of eating cantaloupe in a restaurant. For the first time. And what? Because what it was it that you didn't know? No. Did you try to eat the rind? Yeah. But all along, I didn't eat asparagus until I came here. And the next day, I went to the doctor because I couldn't under the smell on my. It was so pungent from eating I was always sick. You thought you were sick? Yeah, but I went to the doctor. He said, "What did you eat last night?" I tell you, you know what? You got to put that in the paperback because that's a great detail. One of the ways that you've said the stroke has changed you is it's made you outspoken on the outside. Yeah. What do you mean? Because the first year I was so embarrassed by my speech and the way I looked. I didn't go to my restaurant for 1 year, but eventually I thought To embrace it is nothing. I was ashamed, but eventually I realized that there's nothing to be ashamed about. So, and not only did I admit it wasn't a bad thing, but I went in on Instagram.
So Instagram is something you did after the stroke.
Yeah, how do you say the word? Phobe. I didn't know the difference between Twitter and Instagram.
Right. So you said you were a technophobe.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Instagram, Keith. I mean, it's not a different person. Would you say it's even a clear reflection of who you are, or what? Or
not really, but because I'm not as bold as the person writing the Instagram.
You're not as bold in real life as you are on Instagram. Okay, because you wrote this post describing this torrid affair you had with ABC's Diane Sawyer after seeing this play in London in 1972, and it turned out to be totally made up.
I love to dine even with friends. The night I wrote the post, I actually had dinner with her.
You had dinner with her that night,
and I said that let's have a photograph, and she agreed. And then I've known she enjoys more than one things.
The post. You know that she enjoyed that post. Yeah. She thought that you know that she was amused by that.
Yeah, it's true.
So did you only do it because you thought she would?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But let me ask. I'm not a prude, but is this a little bit of an acting out? You know, doing something like that?
No, not really. She's conventional on the outside. Inside, Diana seems to me more rebellious.
She's more rebellious. Okay, and so. But people got upset at you. Some people believed it. And
most people believe it.
Yeah, well, right. Some people say, listen, Keith, it's really not cool for you to be sharing this. And so did you enjoy that back and forth?
Yes, I'm afraid I did.
And I wonder, do you think that the stroke, I don't know, is that...
Say what do you think?
Well, is it that you feel a little trapped inside of yourself?
No, not really. No. I've always been in that. I've always been a little like this inside, but since my stroke and now on the outside.
Okay, all right. But then, what about calling Lauren Sanchez, who's, by the time this airs, will probably be married to Jeff Bezos, calling her revolting looking?
Maybe I shouldn't have written her, but the thing is, she had so much work done. Obviously, work. Imagine you're a young teenage girl. You see her. She's supposed to be rich and famous, fashionable. It's somehow not quite right to flaunt everything. She's not a bad person. I don't know. I've kind of find her funny, not intentionally. But
why are you even weighing in on that?
Because
you're a father of five. You're a successful, high-profile restaurant owner. You're a public person. Why are you weighing in on this?
Because I feel the duty.
Oh, come on.
No, it's true.
A duty to weigh in on Lauren Sanchez's looks?
Well, anybody's fair game. Even me, I made fun of myself a lot. But maybe I did go with a little far. Maybe I should apologize.
The James Corden affair.
Yeah.
He had an incident with your staff at Balthazar. Okay? And then you went on Instagram and you called him a tiny cretin of a man.
Yes, I've said he's a great actor, but...
A tiny cretin of a man. Okay. You generated lots of attention. You got tens of thousands of new followers. And you now say that it left you intoxicated with power and a little contrite.
But afterwards, really bad about it.
You wrote, for someone who's hyper-conscious of humiliation since suffering a stroke, it now seems monstrous that I didn't consider the humiliation I was subjecting Corden to.
That's true.
I felt like I'd hit the jackpot of a slot machine and thousands of gold coins were spilling out in front of me. That night I ended up with over 90,000 followers. I was intoxicated with self-righteousness.
It's true, but afterwards I felt really badly.
You have great taste. How did that happen?
I don't know.
How do you think you developed your eye? Because your restaurants, listen, it's not, you've had all these successful restaurants. It's It's not a chain where they all look the
yeah.
same. I mean, each one is so distinctive. So where do you think that came from?
I don't know, but in some ways it's a curse because I'm so frustrated by things, and that they must look right. To me, being perfect means imperfect, not perfect.
Right. You don't want it to be
cookie
cutter or...
No, I hate the perfection, but I hate also interior designers. I hate them.
The lighting you learned in the theater.
Yeah. I was unconscious of learning, but I obviously learned a lot because I was working the lights of the Rocky Horror Show.
The original Rocky Horror Show, a stage production in London, the original.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was okay, but looking back, it seems special, but at that time it's just a job.
But you were learning unbeknownst to you.
Which is the best way to learn anything.
Right. And what did you learn about lighting?
Shadows, and where light looks good and where it doesn't look good. Many small lights around the room either on those walls like sconces or lampshades on tables. There are many different lights, low-level lights, but it's great in your houses too.
People look better.
But maybe they do. That's not the reason I do it. But the place looks better. Not so much. I don't care about the people. The place.
The place, so that when you walk in, you want to be there.
Yeah.
You say you have special sympathy for the people standing but near the host stand who don't know what to do. Maybe.
But I'm drawn into my maitre d's. The cocky New Yorker is going to get a table but no mud one. But the shy, intimidated person who has no voice is one that you must reach out to. That's the truth. I'm not being modest.
Okay, but I had to push back a little bit because your restaurants, many of them became very hot spots, right?
Yeah. But I don't know now.
Okay, but did they remain welcoming to people who weren't glamorous?
Yeah, but we never give drinks for free to famous people. And the Windsor never gets a free drink.
Anna Wintour, who's a good friend of yours, so early on before you all have succeeded.
She never gets a free drink.
She doesn't get a free drink?
No.
But hold on, you do give a number to some people.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, who are those people who did, I'm not one of them, but that's not why I'm asking.
But never gave the number to anybody called Mo. If we give them a number, people seem to like the place. It doesn't matter the age or the sex, famous, rich, money. The people have a number, and look at that, they enjoy that place. But that doesn't mean other people can't get in. We always take walk-ins.
It must be hell firing someone.
I love it. No, I hate it.
What's the key?
But to be honest, don't ever say, I must let you go. Always say you were being fired.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but I often rehire people. I believe, a big believer in second chances.
Okay.
Because everybody screws up, everybody, all the time. I've often fired people one day and I am in back or her back 2 days later. But often they've turned out to be great employees.
So give second chances where you can, but don't sugarcoat the firing.
No. Or never say, I'm going to let you go, or you're fired.
The first time post-stroke, seeing colleagues, seeing staff, which restaurant was that at?
Balthazar.
It was at Balthazar.
But because I'm really close to my staff there.
So you're really close to the staff there. When was that? Was that?
2019. Yes, 2019.
Yeah. One of the effects of the stroke that I thought was pretty profound is your appreciation for reputation.
Yeah.
Well, what did you mean by that?
The first restaurant I built after my stroke was Pastis. And I was scared because I had to talk to myself, and I was really nervous. And They were really, really kind. In them, kindness is very essential.
The stroke lifted the veil
Yeah.
on what they thought of you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.